Morning, Anne.
Good morning, Redmond. How are you?
Welcome. Good, thank you. Welcome
Long
to
time
People
no
Legal.
see. Good to see
long
you
time no
again.
see. Great to see you again. How long's it been? Like decades?
I think it must be 15, 20 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're relatively new in this role. Are you?
I opened the EU law practice, the
Yes.
Brussels office for a Western Balkans law firm
Yeah.
just over a year ago.
Really interesting. Not many Australian lawyers are doing that sort of work.
I'm probably the only one.
Yeah. Well, there you
Although
go.
I'm also Belgian now.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell us a bit about what made that move for you.
So I have done a variety of things, always in Brussels.
Yep.
I mainly have worked for the Brussels office of large international law firms since I
Yes.
got to Brussels in 1993. The reason that I went to Brussels in the first place after studying in Hamburg was I had an internship in the European Commission.
Yep.
And then I had a stint as a strategic communications consultant
Yeah.
on legal matters. But I really realized during that I really want to be back practicing law.
Yeah.
And the founder of our law firm in Belgrade, Gecić, was my first year associate back in 2011 when we were opening a Brussels office for a big American law firm.
Yeah.
And he was straight out of his Harvard LLM, came to us, sat in my office for a year. We became obviously good friends in that time,
Yeah.
always stayed in touch. And actually last year, as a bit of a joke, I said to him, how about I open a Brussels office for Gecić Law? And honestly, I was joking, but a message came back, when can you start? I have work for you. And the conversation went on from there. And then in May, we decided to do it. So
Fantastic. And how is the work? Is it flooding in?
So you've got to understand, I'm doing EU law,
Yep.
but Serbia is not yet an EU member state.
Yes.
It's an accession country.
Yep.
And all the countries around it, except
Yep.
for Croatia,
Yep.
where the language is the same,
Yep.
are also lining up for EU membership.
Yeah.
A lot of EU law applies already in those countries
Yep.
because they have to implement EU law in order to be ready to join the EU.
Yep.
And some of it applies anyway. For example, all the energy law in
Yep.
the EU already applies because those countries were already part of the energy community,
Yep.
right? So for problems that our clients in the Western Balkans have, a lot of the time there is an EU law solution,
Yeah.
or we're trying to advise them when Serbia or Montenegro or whichever country it might be implements this piece of EU legislation, what's the impact going to be on your business there? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Can you comply?
Yeah.
For example, a story the other day I heard from an Albanian businessman trying to organize recycling of cars. There's EU legislation that
Yes.
says you've got to be able to recycle 95% of your car.
Yeah.
And that now applies in Albania.
Yeah.
And yet, just practically speaking, there are no ways for him close by to recycle car batteries. So he can do up to about 75% of the recycling, but there's some other bits he can't do yet. So it's all these practical things of this new legislation's coming in.
Yeah.
And it's in a way the easy part of joining the EU is for a country to simply enact EU legislation.
Yeah.
The practical implementation on the ground, that's the hard part. And that's where businesses find, oh gosh, the landscape's changing and I wasn't ready. And,
Yeah.
So that's part of it.
Oh, okay. And I mean, that's way more complex than I had even ever thought about. But yeah. So you're here at Legal Tech Talk 2026. What sort of I guess trends or what sort of interest area that will affect your practice specifically?
So for me, this is a new experience in practicing law because I've always worked in much bigger law firms.
Yes.
And I've also joined offices which have been bigger. Here I'm starting an office from scratch.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking for tools which make us efficient.
Yeah.
Which mean that in our networking and our business development, we've got it all covered.
Yeah.
Obviously, AI is a big thing. Our founder, Bogdan Gecić, is really an early adopter of legal AI. We've tried some different ones. One of the things we're finding, though, is that, I mean, obviously, all of our lawyers speak great English, but we do a lot of work in Serbian in the local language in the Balkans.
Yep.
And, some of the tools don't take that into account, the local language.
Right.
For me, that's not a problem because I'm working entirely in English.
Yeah.
But
is Cyrillic or is it with the Roman Latin
so
alphabet?
interestingly enough, there are two alphabets.
Yeah.
But all of the official judgments from courts and even, communications you get from government is all in the Cyrillic.
Okay, right.
Which is just, I guess, an extra hurdle because the market is not so big. So even getting AI solutions developed, they're tending to be, there are some coming through.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things, which means, we can try out some of the platforms here. And for me, they're working fine. We're trying Claude at the moment. We've tried Perplexity. We've looked at, some different ones.
Yeah.
But that's just that kind of that extra level. It's just another hurdle.
So if there was a vendor out there today that handles Cyrillic, we'll come and point
I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
But,
they may not be sponsoring today. I don't know.
I haven't seen any here yet. So.
Yeah, sure. And, and that's really exciting for you to be starting almost like starting a new business, on its own. I guess, so what particular efficiencies would really help you? Is it more with the timekeeping? Is it more with document management or practice management? What would be the best bang for buck for you?
I mean, it really depends on the project you're working on.
Yep.
So one of the things that I do in my practice, and I've done a lot over the years, is notify big transactions to the European Commission under the EU merger regulation.
Yeah.
And if it's a very simple transaction where there are no substantive competition issues, it's a relatively simple filing.
Yep.
But once you get to a transaction where the parties both have activities in the same markets and you have some overlaps and you might need to divest some businesses to get clearance, you're looking at a lot of data. You're looking at pulling in data through the councils for both parties,
right.
the acquirer and the target. And it comes from different places, is in all their businesses.
Yeah. And
then you've got to put it into the right format. Traditionally, we've always done it in Excel spreadsheets, but there's, just even managing the workflow from just that huge data collection exercise and then being able to interpret it, sift it. Yeah. You've got a narrative part of your notification, but you've also got just plain data.
The data part of it,
So those are projects, I think, where, I mean, I'm hearing from a lot of the vendors that I go and talk to here, they can manage litigation and they can manage, big investigations, say white collar investigations.
Yeah.
But that type of workflow, I'm not quite sure yet. I mean, they're interested to hear what I've got to say.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether any of them are doing it yet. Maybe they are. I mean, we're not the only firm doing merger notifications.
Sure.
So perhaps there are.
Yeah.
But I mean, if, for example, if you think about some of these big transactions going on, Paramount trying to buy Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
That's involved notifications to lots of different competition authorities, where you've got tons of data, managing jurisdictions.
Yeah.
Those are massive projects.
Yeah.
So I think solutions for those types of projects would be good. I mean, we have a full service corporate and commercial practice. We're a full service commercial firm in the Western Balkans.
Yeah.
And so we do transactions and all the general work, but those are smaller markets, those are smaller markets. So I think, it's a little bit of trial and error.
Yeah.
And it's also making sure that what we get can operate in Serbian as well.
Yes. Yeah.
It's going to have to, you know.
Yes.
So there are some challenges, but we're exploring everything. And there is no doubt at all that these AI tools, when you are, in my practice, we're now positioned as a general EU law advice practice.
Yep.
So there might be an antitrust or a competition query. There might be a trade query. I might get a query on GDPR, or I might get a query on rules of origin, or, and it can be absolutely any, it could be CBAN. When you're more of a generalist across EU law, you might not be in the totally tiny details that a specialist would be in.
Yeah.
And AI will get you a large part of the way in the first instance.
Yep.
And then you can quickly get into needing to refine the answer that you need to get to the client sooner. So I do think you are cutting out some research time. That might be junior lawyer time for sure.
Yeah.
Or it might not be.
Yeah.
But I do think when, clients, particularly clients from the region we come from, who are likely to have heart palpitations when they hear the hourly rates of the big international firms, they need solutions which are not going to break the budget, but they still want top quality legal.
They really value your kind of face on the work, I guess?
Well, at this stage, Redmond, I'm kind of the grandma in the firm, so I'm applying some grey hair common sense to a lot of it, and I think that's one thing. I mean, also that it's easy to lose sight of, especially with a lot of this remote working, that our young lawyers, they need to be interacting with senior lawyers. They need to be sitting in with senior lawyers, and they need to be learning from people who've just been around more and for longer.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And so I think, having some senior people in the firm to mentor the junior people is always.
I know you just refer to yourself as the grandma of the law firm, but you're an entrepreneur, so you just started a new business, as it were. What are your growth goals for the next 12, 24 months?
Well, what I would like to be able to do, because I mean, you got to think about this. When law firms, and this is a problem that law firms know, when law firms open in different jurisdictions, the cost base is different. The hourly rates that you can charge are different. If you look at some of the very big international firms, there's very few that have opened up in the jurisdictions where you can charge a lot less. Or if they've done it, they've used maybe a Swiss Verein model where you have a local entity, which in itself is its own economic entity. And it's very hard, for example, to have the magic circle, lockstep system, partnership remuneration model when you have a law firm sprawled across many jurisdictions where what you can charge in some of those jurisdictions is an awful lot less. That is a problem that large international law firms who wanted to expand into smaller markets have always had from the beginning. And we've seen a number of firms go into some markets and then, spin them off or say, no, look, we can't make the money, we can't make it work. So I think what I would like to do is to be able to make our Brussels office profitable so that we can employ young lawyers and lawyers in Brussels to grow our Brussels office and be able to pay them what they expect to be paid on the Brussels EU law market. And that's a different market to offering corporate law services in Belgrade.
I see.
And so, because, we have in Belgium, we pay a lot of tax and social security. In Belgrade, it's a lot less. The cost of living is less. So, you have to, it's horses for courses. To make our office successful and recruit the talent I want to recruit. I mean, we operate in two markets. We're selling legal services, but we also operate in a recruitment market. And to compete and have the best people that I want to have in Brussels, we need to be able to pay them what people in Brussels are paid. Because otherwise, the people I want are going to take the offer from the other firm down the street because it's not competitive. So we have to make our office profitable enough to be able to recruit people for that market and grow in our market.
What do you see that might transform your business over the next year or two? That coming out of the vendors that are that would be exhibiting today.
So I think what is going to transform our practice in Brussels is the fact that what I've already learned so far in this 1 year is that EU law is really relevant in accession countries. And just a couple of days ago, following the political changes in Hungary, we've seen the European Council in Brussels decide and the European Commission decide to go forward with accession negotiations for Ukraine and for Moldova. And we've got Montenegro coming on as the next member state. And we've got other countries that are lining up for membership as well. And so for those countries, an EU law resource that where we understand what it's like not to be a member state, but to be becoming a member state, where, they need capacity in that area. That's where I think probably a lot of our growth is going to come from.
Fantastic. Well, thanks very much for your time there.
Good to reconnect.
It's great to reconnect. And thanks for your time. Welcome to People Legal, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.